Now let's implement your custom hook. So as we discussed, the possible exports are values, handle change, errors, and handle submit. Now let's define your state. Here you will have your values, set value, use state, which will have your initial value. Similarly, you will also have here errors, set errors, and this is going to be your an object, empty object in the beginning. What else do we have? We also have handle change, handle change. Handle change will receive two items. One is the name, or generally we call it as a key, and the third one is going to be your value. There you will have your callback. And what else do we have? We have handle submit function. In the handle submit function, you won't receive any parameter here. And finally, you will return all of your stuff through an array or through an object, because we are using object there for the destructuring. You can pass everything from the object. We return objects or arrays from the custom hooks because we use this destructuring technique here for destructuring all of this. So we are using object here, so we will return the object itself from there. So let's return the values first, and then what we have our handle change. This maintain the order, doesn't matter. And you can also return your errors. Now you can return your handle submit. So this is the basic architecture of this custom hook. What else do we need? We also need the validations in that hook, because we have email, we have the password. So where we can write our validations. I will prefer to write your validations inside the custom hooks itself, but you can write the rules or validation rules like above your custom hooks. Like I will tell you some of the validation rules here. Validation pattern and validation rules. It is going to be an object. In that object, you will have email. For the email, you can have it is required like that. That is required like true. You can also put your regex for the email validation here, but I will keep it as simple for now. Let's move to the password. In the password, yeah, it is required. Yes, it is required. You can keep that as true. You can keep the min length or something. Let's give it 8 characters. So this is your validation rule. You can increase this object for the email, for the password. You can make it more complex. That could help you to validate your emails and password for the security purpose. Data security, validation security, form security. These kind of security mainly required in payment applications. In the handle change, what we have, whenever you are getting a name and the value. So what we can do, let's set this name and set values. In the set values, you will have previous, and here you will have your previous. Let's copy the previous, and you will use the array for updating your values. With the name, you can keep your value. Generally, it's going to be a value. Let's keep it value. So this is how you can update your state. For each key, you can update it. For each input box, you can update the value in the values. Now, let's write the logic for the validation. So what we want, whenever you are giving any text in your input box, we want to check it immediately. Suppose you are giving unnecessary input, so that we can see the error message below your input box. So what we can do, we can write a validation rule here. Let's call it a function, validate. And this will validate all of your input boxes information. So whenever you are giving any value in your input box, we want to validate it immediately. What we can do? So here let's write a field value, FIELD values new values or new value something, we will create an object. We will copy previous values from the state. Generally we have email and password, we will copy, and we will get the updated field value here with the same like above, with the name as a key and the updated value. So this is your updated field value, and you can set the error. You can call this function inside the error and you can set the errors. Here if you get any error, it will be displayed below your input box. What you can do, call that set error. At the set errors, you can validate. Inside the validate, you can pass your field value, so that you can see the, if you have any error, you will get something in your errors. So here what we will do, we'll create an object here, errors. We'll store if there is any error related to email or password. So we have our validation rules here. So we'll use these validation rules to validate our information. So we will get here field value. This is the field value or the new values, the current state. So we will get it here and we will write our logic here. So what we can do, we will write a loop inside that. So inside the for loop, we will loop over the validation rules. So what we will do, we'll use the array for destructuring. We'll get the field value and the value from the, we'll use the object.entry function, not from the, we'll use the object.entries from your validation rules. So this is going to be your for loop. It will give you a field, the field, this field, and its value is going to be this, an object. We can give it as a rules simply, because these are the rules. You will get the email and password as a key here, key and value generally. So in the for loop, what you will do, let's get the value. Now we will get the value from your field value, which we have in our current state. The field value you can pass the, in the field value you can pass, or you can get the simply, we can get the field. If you give the field name or the key name, because email and password both are keys. So we have the value inside field values, current value, which you changed in the input box. This is going to be your current value. Now let's write a first logic for the if, for the email first. Now, or generally it is going to be a generic rule, because it's a generic rule for the dynamic. You can see the changes dynamically. If you get any error, you will see the error below your input box. What you can do here, now if the rules dot required, and if there is no value in that case, the field is required, there is no value, the current, in that case you can set errors dot field. This is going to be use tilde, use here field is required. It will work for both the input boxes. Now let's write the else if. Inside the else if, what you can do, we have other logic like minimum length. We can write the check for the minimum length, like rule start first. If there is a minimum length, because we have the minimum length for this password only, it is going to be the second check. If any of the input box have any length limitation or something, we can, this rule will apply on all those input boxes as well. And if the value dot length, if this is less than your rules dot min length, in that case what we will do, we will set the error input message. This field is should be minimum, we'll use this dollar symbol, and the rules dot min length. Yeah, this field should be minimum this length, 8 characters, and finally you can return your errors. So this is how you can write the validation rules. It's dynamic. it will give you immediately the errors whenever you are changing anything. It will set the input errors, or your errors will be updated quickly through the error message. Now let's write the handle submit function. Now here, before you submit to the API, just do the validation once again with the same methods. What you can do, if there is any error is still there, you can do validation errors. You can call the valid method once again, passing the values, the states values, generally current state. If you get any error, let's check if there is any error. It's an object, so what you can do, you can check one if object dot keys validation errors dot length equal to 0. On that case, you can handle the submit function here. So let's get the submit function from the app.txs itself. So you will get on submit here, submit, then you can call the on submit function by passing your values, whatever. So here, this is completed. Now you can write your custom hook use form like this for handling all of the validations errors. We have written the validation rules as well. You can customize it according to your requirement. So now here in the app.tsx, at the handle login, instead of doing this, what you can do, you can call here directly handle submit. In the handle submit, you can pass the handle login. Handle login, you can pass the handle login function. So you have the handle login here, this one, you can pass this function directly. So when you are passing it, you will get all of your data, generally payload. After the validation, you can write your API here as well. You can call another hook here for calling your API for handling your data error loading. You can call this hook as well, use fetch. So I will implement that use fetch hook, custom hook, in the next video. So for this, let's call your values here. You will get the payload, generally payload, validated payload here. When you get the payload, when you call your API, you will write its logic here, call API with the payload. When it is successful, then you will get your message here. So this is how you can write your custom hook. So let's do some. So when I'm typing, it is showing this is also required, password is required. Okay, so you can put validation rule here for the email verification as well in your validation rules object. You can put, now let's give some 1 2 3. So it is saying that your password should be minimum 8 characters. Let's give some others. Now it is saying it is valid now. Now let's see the output here. When you submit, let's submit it 1 more, 2 times, 3 times. Now see the output. It is saying hi, you have logged in successfully with your email. So this is how you can implement the custom hook. So it is going to be a nice strategy for implementation of the forms, handling the forms. It is called hook based architecture in the React Native. You can manage some hooks or generic hooks for each component in your React Native framework, in React Native projects. So now the next video will be based on your use fetch custom hook. That is going to be a continued video of this. You got the payload here, validated payload with the custom hook. We will use another hook like this. Here we will handle your loading, state and data, everything, and you will see the API call. We will use dummy API, then we will see the output. If you guys like the video, please subscribe my channel also and hit the like also.